Hello and welcome. My name is John Hobby. Welcome to a discussion about spinners as far as poker chips are concerned. Now, I know many of you, when you think of spinners, you think of Taylor Swift on the beach in Hong Kong, spinning in her dress, frolicking in the wind. That's not what we discuss here. We're talking strictly poker chips, all right? We're going to do some gaming reviews. We're going to discuss some poker chips, review some poker chips. And it's important to understand some terminology that I use. I'm not sure if this is normal use, but it's just terms that I use. Again, I was raised in Southern California, been to Vegas countless times. My dad fancied himself a gambler, not much of a gambler. He lost a lot of money. However, I have some terminology that I'm going to refer to in my videos, and I want to discuss that here with you so I don't have to waste airtime in my chip reviews explaining what all this stuff means. A spinner, to me, are imperfections in poker chips, meaning that they're not perfectly flat. So you can see with these Paulsons, if this surface is perfectly flat and this surface is perfectly flat, you're going to have a huge surface area of contact between these two chips, and they're going to be very difficult to separate because they're going to have a high static coefficient of friction. Does that make sense? Obviously not this way, but we're talking about rubbing against each other. And there are a couple of ways to test for that. Probably one of the more common is just to squeeze the sides, and you'll be able to see little gaps open up when there are imperfections. And you can see even with Paulsons, there are tiny little gaps. Another way to test, and one of the reasons why we call them spinners, is because we'll put them on a low friction surface. This is just some cheap plastic poker chip I pulled out of some case. It came with a case, and we'll make a demonstration for today's purposes. All right, so with a stack of chips, put a little bit of downward pressure on them and spin them, all right? And if the whole stack spins, you're good. You don't have any spinners, so you upgrade to a surface with more friction, and you can see right here, it's spinning right there. And so usually you can flip this over and see if it's actually this chip or the one above it or the one below it or whatever. And in this case, it looks like it might be the one above it. So we flip that one over and see how that one does. Anyway, this is just, for me, this is just a test of quality control. Dang it, now it's all spinning, so it probably was that upper one. Either way, it's just a test of quality control, all right? It's not, now there are people out there who have too much free time and too much money, and they'll tell you to throw away all of your chips that are spinners. Whoa, 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 whoa. I do not support that theory, especially if you're paying a lot of money for your chips. Just leave the imperfections in there. It'll be okay. People aren't going to walk out of the game because, oh no, this chip's not perfect, right? Well, at least not my friends. I have, I'm a normal person. I have real friends. So again, let's just, go through this again. That's a fine, I'm not even going to waste airtime looking at more Paulsons. All right, Milanos. So Milanos, China clay, that's actually a pretty good stack. Let's try felt. You can see imperfection there. Which one is it? We're trying to isolate it here. Yeah, it looks like it's actually that one. So you take it out, see again, even on felt, that stack spins. That doesn't mean that the stacks are perfect. Let's go back to the side squeeze test here. See if we can see any gaps. I'm looking through the viewfinder, hard to see. Anyway, I can feel it rocking a little. So, these aren't perfect. Less perfect than the Paulsons. Next gen, it's the same idea all the way across the board, right? You just do that with all your chips, and you'll get familiar with your chips. I'm switching different brands here and different textures, so it can be kind of tricky to get a feel for it. So these at the top don't feel perfect, and you can see they kind of spin out. And so obviously, like I showed you, flip the one in question, squeeze, find the gaps, and you can isolate your spinners. Why? Just a test of quality control. So in my videos, when I'm reviewing a chip, here are some ceramic Nile clubs, and I refer to spinners. Like if I say, I went through these Nile clubs and 70% of them were spinners, you know what I'm referring to. They're just not perfectly flat. Okay, so there'll be slight imperfections in the chip, and it's just a sign of manufacturing quality. And to a lot of people, it just doesn't matter. But as a reviewer, I need to be sure to discuss all of those little details in quality control. Here are some ABS chips. And it's good to do both because sometimes with ABS chips, I'm not sure if this stack will do it, but sometimes ABS chips will not spin out, and so you'll have the whole stack spin. But when you pick up the stack and you squeeze the sides of them, they rock massively. They're just terrible quality control. desert palms here. It'll be the last one I'm going to do. And so, it's just a sign of quality. I'm going to refer to spinners. And now you guys know what it is. And it wasn't too scientific, but just some terminology I use. I'm not a poker chip expert. I've been around poker chips and casinos and gambling my whole life. Doesn't make me an expert. If you are a poker chip expert and or have a PhD in manufacturing engineering and you want to discuss the idea of spinners and if that's a correct term or not, I don't even know, then go ahead and leave a comment. Please leave a comment. Spinners and poker chips. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. You're going to see a lot of poker chip reviews, some plastic face cards, various other gaming accessories here on this channel. So be sure you subscribe so you don't miss those. Thanks for watching. My name is John Hobby.